Freelancer Academy webinar series. Before we get started, can you just let me know in the chat box whether or not you can hear me okay, whether you can see the presentation on the screen, and then we will get started shortly. So please just go to the chat box if you can hear me and come and say hello and let me know that everything is working okay. Okay, great. On the screen as well, I should say chapter 15, how to make 2019. Perfect. I can see. Oh, that was interesting. A load of. It looked like the chat just froze for a second, and all of a sudden, lots of people said hello. So welcome to Rico, to Devlin, to David, to Lauren, Adrian, Don, Nura, Ryan, Valerio, Victor, Miguel, Daniel, Katerina, Sarah, Chanel, Don. Awesome. We have a lot of people with us today, which is fantastic. Happy New Year, everybody, too. So what we're going to do is we will get started in at 5 minutes past the hour. We will begin, and the reason I'm saying that is because sometimes with these webinars, we'll often have some problems maybe logging in or turn up a couple of minutes late. So to make sure those people don't miss anything, we will wait until 5 minutes past the hour, and then we will get started. So if you haven't already, maybe grab yourself a drink or something like that, and we will start at 5 minutes past. So I can see a question from William saying, is this being recorded? I can't stay for the whole webinar. William, yes, this will be recorded. It will be shared on the Promo Republic website, but I would encourage you to stay as long as you can, simply because kind of live element when you watch the recording. And before we get started too, so we'll hang around for a couple more minutes before we jump into things, but if you could let me know in the chat box, everyone, whether or not you have been on one of these webinars before and whether or not you are currently a Promo Republic customer. That would just be really cool for me to find out. And also at any point, if at any point, I should say, throughout this webinar, if we start having any audio issues or any problems, please let me know, because sometimes the software has been known to cut out all the time. So if that problem does arise, please let me know, and I will do my best to fix any issues. But fingers crossed there won't be any. Great. So I can see Miguel says first webinar already a customer. Adrian is a customer. This is the first webinar. William, first webinar. Sarah, not been on a webinar before. Awesome. So it looks like we have a lot of new people here. Joel says yes, agency subscriber. Wilfred, agency subscriber. Great. Great. I'm so pleased to see so many of you here and so many new faces as well. I was kind of unsure whether or not we would have many people on this webinar today, with it being the start of the year. I wasn't sure if you'd all be back to work or not, so I'm really pleased that there are a number of you here. So welcome everyone, and if you have just joined, we will be beginning in a couple of seconds. We're just hanging around to make sure everybody joins before we get started. Great. Okay, so we're at 5 minutes past. So as promised, let's jump straight into things, everybody. So I want to say a huge welcome, Happy New Year to everyone. This is the first webinar we have done in the new year. It is the 15th of the Agency and Freelancer Academy series. So if you are new around here, which a lot of you are, I really would recommend you check out the previous webinars. You will find them all on the Promo Republic website or on the Promo Republic YouTube channel. But before this webinar, there has been 14 other value-packed webinars to help you grow your agency or your freelancer business. But today, with it being the start of the year, I know this webinar maybe would have been better a couple of days before the start of the year, but I didn't think anyone would show up for that. So with it being the start of the year, we are going to focus on how you can make 2019 your most profitable year running your agency or freelancer business. And we're going to cover kind of 3 main areas, and that's going to be plan for your best year ever, key trends for you to pay attention to, and a couple of tips that will generate you some additional revenue. So at the end of this webinar, this is why I encourage you all to hang around towards the end. At the very end, I'm going to give you 2 tips that will help generate you some additional revenue in 2019. But before we get into sharing the value, I'm not going to talk about me for a long time because that's not what we're here for today. You're here to learn, and we're here to share as much value as possible. But it is important for those of you who are new, who haven't been on these webinars before, to just understand a little bit more about me, why I'm leading this webinar, and who I am. So my name is Dylan Hay. I am, just like many of you, a digital marketing agency owner. So I set up my own marketing agency in May of 2018, having previously worked for some really cool companies within the SaaS world like Hootsuite and Leadfeeder. So I don't actually work for Promo Republic. I work with them, they're a client of mine. And earlier on last year, in 2018, Promo Republic launched their agency solution. So a special version of their platform to help agency owners save time and generate more revenue. So it's specifically tailored towards agency owners, and I can tell you a little bit more about that later on. But they launched this agency platform, and part of part of that launch phase and part of the decision behind launching this, the team at Promo Republic wanted to do everything they could to not only just launch this new product for agency owners, but to actually build out this huge resource area to become leaders in the field of helping agency owners and freelancers grow and scale their businesses. And one of the many ways that we're doing that is through this webinar series, is through the series of blogs that we put out, is through the Agency and Freelancer Academy Facebook group that we have. So they're pumping a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of resources into helping people just like you. And I hope you appreciate that. And they approached me and asked me to help them lead this project. And that's why you are hearing from me today. So I've been through and I'm currently going through probably everything that you guys are going through. I haven't owned an agency forever, but luckily I have been fairly successful within the first, well, it's not even been 12 months yet since running my business, but I was lucky enough to reach six figures already last year and to have built out a fairly stable business. So that's a little bit about me. I host a iTunes podcast, which you can see here. I haven't posted an episode there for a couple of months, but that will be resuming this year. And yeah, my work's been picked up by a few sites. I speak frequently around the world at different events. And that's a little bit about me. But I would love to hear about you guys. So these webinars, I try and keep them as interactive as possible so that they don't get boring. And of course, there's lots of value here, but I want to keep them interactive too. So why don't you let me know in the chat section what kind of social media agency you're running or what kind of business you're running, whether you're a freelancer or an agency owner, what kind of companies you focus on. It'd be great to hear from you. So my agency focuses on helping SaaS businesses with their paid acquisition. And that's because I come from a SaaS background. I've worked with and for some successful SaaS companies. But it would be awesome to hear from some of you what it is that you do before we get into the next section of planning for your best year ever. Cool. So Valerio says, and I think ad agency there. Nura says SVOD platform. I don't know what that means, but it sounds interesting. And I can see we have a few other people typing away, which is awesome. You'll notice one thing about me is that I want to make sure I keep these interactive, and I hope you enjoy that. So thank you to everyone who's engaging already. Virgil says we're building a CRM and an agency. Candice, marketing and PR consultancy. Nura, video on demand platform. Bernadette is a freelancer wanting to build an agency. Awesome. So we have a range here, which is so good to hear and so good to see. I'm really pleased that we have that going on. So let's get into planning for your best year ever. Now, how many of you have seen this quote before? It's one that I love, and it's one that some of my old managers in previous jobs a long time ago used to talk about a lot. It would always be like pinned around the office when a new quarter was starting, a new month was starting, a new year was starting. And it's a quote by Benjamin Franklin that says, "If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail." I love this quote, and I hope you guys will enjoy this one too. And heading into 2019, we're already there now, right? But going into 2019, a number one focus for a lot of you at this point of the year should be on planning, because how can you have a successful year if you don't plan? And previous to this year, I'm one of those guilty ones who maybe doesn't do enough planning before or doesn't focus on this enough. One of my weaknesses as a business owner is that I am not the most organized person in the world. It's something that I'm trying to work on. And planning is a huge aspect and a huge part of that. So within the planning section of this webinar, we're going to talk about the three, to me anyway, the three what I feel are core areas to what it should be that you focus on with your planning, and specifically with your goals. It would be like there is so much we can do and talk about with planning. It could end up going on for hours and hours. So I've tried not to focus on it too much. I've tried to focus on instead providing you with a couple of tools and key resources that you can utilize to help you plan and have a successful year. And so for me, when I think about planning, the next step is to then think about goals. And when I think about my goals, I tend to break them down into three different sections. So they are business goals, health goals, and personal goals. So business goals are those ones that are simply solely related to the business. They're usually revenue focused goals, and I set a better, best, and a greatest like goal for my business in terms of revenue numbers. There are those health goals. This is something that I have focused on a lot more in the last couple of months of last year. So I spent some time investing in a few business mentors and coaches. And one of the things that was extremely clear to me was those people who were achieving the things that I want to achieve, those people who are having extreme success in their business, they put a lot of focus on their own health and wellness, and that then translates into their successful businesses. So health is something that I have put a huge focus on this year, and I don't want to tell you what you should focus on because ultimately the decision is yours. But I've seen already the benefits of focusing on my health and how that translates into how my business is doing and how it's running. And then the final one is personal goals. So this is kind of a big overarching term, but this is things like maybe there is that, well, for me, actually, one of the personal goals is take, uh, I want to take April of this year away from where I live, which is in Tallinn in Estonia. I would have been through a long cold winter by the time we get to May, or April, sorry, and I want to take that away and go for a month to Bali and live and work from Bali for a month. So that would, for me, fall under one of my personal goals. Personal goals could be anything. Maybe it's something you've always wanted to do, always wanted to focus on. And so for me, these are the three core areas that I really look at when I'm building out my goals for the next year or for the next quarter, next month, etc. And me personally, I set some like one overarching goal for the year, but then I start to focus on everything quarter by quarter, just because I find it very difficult to plan 12 months in advance, whereas quarter by quarter still feels very close to real for me and very easy to progress with. But how do you guys like to set your goals? Do you do them month by month, year by year, quarter by quarter? How do you focus on things? Because when I've worked in jobs before, I spent a lot of time in sales before I sort of transitioned into marketing. And some businesses, it was just monthly targets. Some it was quarterly. Um, yeah, okay. So Sarah says a year goal, a quarter goal, and a month goal. Valerio, yearly. Cool. So it really depends on what you guys and girls find easiest or like to work with. With goal setting, there's no correct or incorrect way of doing things. It's whatever works best for you. This is just the kind of stuff that I have enjoyed and like to focus on. Now, when I set goals, I always stick with the SMART goal principle. How many of you know what the SMART goal principle is? I know it's on the screen right now, but how many of you have heard about SMART goals before? Or which principles or kind of ways of goal setting do you utilize? So when I very first started out in sales, when I was would have been 16, 17 years old, my first sales manager was really focused on every goal that we set would have to be a SMART goal, and that has kind of that's kind of stuck with me for a very long time. So what SMART goals mean is every goal that you set, you have to break it down into these different kind of categories, if you want to call it that. So your goals must be specific. That's where the S comes from. So you want to be extremely clear about exactly what it is that you want to achieve. They must be measurable. So it must be clear to you whether or not you have achieved that goal. It must be achievable. So this is an interesting one. So you want to check that your goal isn't totally out of this world. Now people have different kind of people have different ways of setting goals. So one sales kind of mentor that I follow that I'm sure some of you will have heard of is called Grant Cardone. He's this huge now focuses a lot of his time in real estate and in online education, has made hundreds of millions of dollars, and he wrote a book which is called the 10x rule, and everything in that book kind of goes against setting achievable or goals that you feel as achievable. He says that you should, in short, every goal that you set, you should then 10x it, and that should be your new goal. And I tried to do that for a while, and I found for me personally, I didn't find that the best way of setting goals, just because if a goal didn't feel within reach whatsoever, then I would always struggle to picture in my mind myself achieving it. So when I set goals now, of course I set goals that are a little bit like I push myself. You don't want to set goals that are too easy for you, right? But you also, for me, I find it best to set goals that it is possible. Like it seems a real stretch, and I would have to really, really push myself to get there, but it's not completely out of this world. And then the next step is relevancy. So you have to ensure that the goals that you're setting are relevant to the direction that you want your business to head in. So if you're setting revenue goals, you have to make sure that those goals are relevant to maybe the way that you price your services or how many clients you can actually deliver for during that time. And I can see that Joel in the chat, there's also the BHAG principle, big, hairy, audacious goals. Um, okay, so I've not heard of this before, but it looks like Todd is resonating well with that, so that's great to see. And then the end part of those SMART goals is timely. So you have to set a specific deadline for when you want to achieve this goal. That way you can, again, track everything. So this is the way that I set my goals heading into the year, heading into the quarter. But what I want to do now, rather than just talk about kind of some high level stuff, is I actually want to go into just sharing with you a couple of tools that can help you out with your goal setting and ultimately help you out not just with your goal setting, but with your planning and then making sure that you have a successful 2019. So what I'm going to do first is talk about a couple of simple ones, and then I'm going to, hopefully it will work, I'm going to screen share with you some really incredible tools that have been shared by a couple of my mentors. So we'll get started with, I think you should be able to see my pencil on the screen. We'll get started with this one here. And this is like a journal or a notebook that I have. I have this on my desk every single day, and I actually just got a new one of these for Christmas as a gift from my parents. And this is called the 5 Minute Journal. So I've never really been hugely into journaling, but this journal takes literally, I think, less than 5 minutes every day to fill in. So I fill in a couple of things in the morning and a couple of things in the evening. It starts each day with like a nice motivational quote or something like that. And then I have to fill in 3 things that I'm grateful for, and then 3 things that would make today a great day. And then I fill in a daily affirmation. And that's it. Then I put it down, and then at the end of the day, I come back to this to fill in 3 amazing things that happened today, and then 1 thing about how I could have made today even better. And this really helps to keep me on track for what actually is important, because sometimes with goal setting, with tracking, we can really overcomplicate things. And this really ties in with what I said about kind of health and wellness, focusing on what I'm grateful for, what made today great, and some daily affirmations, and then also some reflection at the end of the day about what you could do better. So I would really recommend that. I think you can find, I'm pretty sure this company, the 5 Minute Journal, I'm pretty sure they deliver like worldwide, or you could maybe even get it from Amazon. So I live in Tallinn in Estonia, and I managed to get my hands on this. So that's like just a this has kind of replaced my daily planner. I haven't used a daily planner for a while. I run everything through my Google Calendar, but this is like a nice physical thing that I keep on my desk that I fill in morning and evening. So I would really really recommend that. And then the second thing is this thing down here. If you follow my pencil in the bottom right hand corner, content marketing planner, how to build the perfect content calendar for 2019. I thought those of you that run a social media agency might like this. So last year, actually right at the start of the year, I wrote a guest blog post for a company called Q, and it was how to build the perfect content calendar for 2018. And basically what they've done is they've gone ahead, updated it, and released the template. So I'm going to share that in the chat now. You'll see the link in the chat if you want to maybe save that. It's basically just a nice blog post about some ideas for building out a content calendar, and then there's a template in there. This was written by me like almost 2 years ago now, so I think they've made some adjustments to it. But again, it's another useful free resource that some of you might want to check out. Then the third thing, this is something that is really, really awesome. It is, if you follow a pencil, this thing here in the middle at the bottom, the Agency and Freelancer Growth Online Summit. So if you remember, I talked about how Promo Republic were investing a lot of time, effort, and energy into helping people just like you listening to this webinar, watching this webinar. One of the ways that we're doing that is through the Agency and Freelancer Growth Online Summit. This is going to be an amazing event between January the 16th and the 17th. It's a completely free online summit. We have, I believe, over 15 speakers right now, spread over 2 days. They're a mix of successful agency owners and marketers from some really cool companies like & Co by Fiverr, Ogilvy, Promo Republic, Reply, Rebrandly, The Content Factory. We have some big influencers like Shane Barker, Gavin Bell. And over the 2 days, the first day will be focused on how to grow your agency, and the second day will be focused on leveling up your marketing services. So we have some great Q&As, we have some great presentations. Each day, I think there'll be one live event, and all the others will be shared with you, pre-recorded and shared with you on that day. And there's also a competition running when you sign up, where there is an annual subscription to Promo Republic worth over $1,200, which is up for grabs for free. So this event is going to be absolutely awesome. I'm going to share the link with you all now in the chat box, in the chat section. So again, make sure you you save that, because this event, honestly, it's one of the most exciting online events that we have, or I've ever been a part of, and it's been great fun working it out so far. And there's going to be so much value in this event from you. Just to give you an idea of some of the talk tracks, like if we look at the first day, I'll be talking about how you can fill your sales funnel, how you can fill your sales funnel even with high quality leads by building your personal brand. We'll have topics like 7 tactics of targeted email outreach to get more clients for your agency, how to use SEO to acquire new clients, how to scale your agency, leveraging free software and resources, and a ton of others. Then day 2, we'll have things like how to boost your clients' click-through rates on social with branded links, social media trends in 2019, what to be prepared for, and loads of other great stuff too. So I know for a fact that you are all going to love that event. So please, please sign up for that. It's completely free. You won't lose out on anything for signing up. And there's also a really cool competition, as I said, where there's a free Promo Republic license up for grabs. Now, the final thing that I want to show you is something that I think is very exciting and very, very cool. And it's this thing, top left-hand corner. Again, another free resource. Now, I'm going to do my best to actually try and share my screen with you right now and walk through a couple of things. So if we have any problems here, please let me know. Give me 2 seconds while I just load up the screen sharing software. I did test this a couple of times before we started this webinar. So fingers crossed this will work out well for us. I'm just going to load the screen sharing up now. Also, everyone, if you can, in the chat how you're enjoying this this webinar so far and what you're thinking of this webinar so far, that would be really great to hear from you. Cool. Thanks, Jennifer. Jennifer says very helpful. Todd says great. Okay, so I'm just opening the screen sharing section now. If you bear with me, it should start showing any time now, I believe. Okay, it should be sharing. Just let me know when you can see the screen, or if you can see the screen. I have a chat box I can monitor. Okay, great. So you can see the screen, which is awesome. So one of my mentors, someone that I really look up to, is Sam Ovens. Some of you may have heard of this guy, or probably hit his YouTube ads or Facebook ads somewhere. Now he gave out this awesome free video about tools to plan for the new year. I think it's about 45 minutes or an hour long. And as well as this video, which I'd recommend you all check out, I'll share the link for it once I finish screen sharing with you. Actually, I'll share the link for it with you all now. I can do that, I believe. Okay, so I'm sharing the link right now. So there's a link in the chat section. It's an awesome video, but the best thing about this video is he gives away some free templates to work on. So the first thing is this one here, Vision, Mission, and Principles Worksheet. So Sam talks a lot about the importance before setting goals of defining what your business's vision, mission, and principles are. He talks about how to fill this in on the video too, and this is the template, the worksheet, which you can go through. So this is really good. This is one of the starting pieces, but for me, my favorite piece, he calls it the warm-up calendar. Now, you can see that here, but I'm actually going to show you a slightly different version. So another mentor of mine called Iman Gadzi, he took this warm-up calendar and he's adapted it, and I use the adapted version. So this is the calendar itself. When you watch the video, you'll learn how it works and what it's all about. But I'm actually going to show you my adapted version, which I keep stored as a bookmark up here in my tab all the time. So it's called my Warm Up 2019. This has been adapted a little bit, and this is now what I'm using as my day-to-day planner. I tried to remove as much data as I could before showing you guys this, but there's still some stuff in here. But this is the whole year outlook, and the idea here is that you see every single day of the year, and you put in all of your key events that are coming up into this calendar. So I just put a couple in here to show you guys. For example, all of April is redded out and set as Bali. So if I hit my Q1 goal, I told you that I wanted to take a month in Bali in April. February, I'm running a mastermind event here in Talent. I also run like a coaching business about how to build your personal brand and generate business leads from it. So I'm running an event here in Talent in February. And then I set all of my tasks in the build up to these events in this calendar too. So in yellow, you'll see I've basically blocked out a week for prepping for the mastermind and relaunching the ads for my personal brand. Then all of January is in orange because I'm really going heavy on lead generation for Hey Digital, my agency business right now. So this is like monthly. I recommend like filling in all of your key events. I had done that, but I didn't want you guys to see all of them. So I recommend filling all of your key events and then building up to those quarter by quarter. And then you go month by month. So you'll have January. And the idea here is that you fill in what it is that you're working on that day. And the day that it is today is you set as yellow. And then you set your 3 or 4 key tasks in here. So you'll see send 6 video emails, complete a tax form that I needed to do, and prep the webinar deck for this evening. And then what I do is at the end of the day, I strike through them, and then I yellow the next day, and I set my next tasks. And everything that I've missed, I strike through it, and then I manually retype it in the next day because it's just a kind of playing a trick on your mind, right? And you'll see that 6 video emails every day is something really key for me, and you can utilize this to put everything in. And then down at the bottom, we have month's objectives. So you can put in your 2 or 3 key objectives for the month, and that goes the same for every month. And then there's a daily schedule planner. So I schedule my days hour by hour. Some people do it 30 minutes by 30 minutes, but I would then fill this in. So I absolutely love this warm app, as Sam Ovens calls it, and it's really, really useful for me. And I'm sure a lot of you will see value and use in it too. What do you think of that warm app? It's a completely free download on Sam Ovens' site. It'll be slightly different to the one you see here. But unfortunately, I'm not allowed to share this one here because my mentor Iman said that this was just for his students. But hopefully you like that and you can see the value and the use in that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to go back to showing you guys the webinar deck. Okay. Cool. Can you all see the webinar deck on the screen again now? Yeah, so Valerio says it is a really interesting way of planning. It is indeed. I really like it a lot. As I said, guys, like I'm not the most organized person in the world, so this is something that I'm really trying to improve upon, and this is something that I think is really going to help me this year. Actually, I know for a fact it's really going to help me this year, and I hope it will help you too. Sam Ovens, like he splits opinion, but he's one of the most interesting and smart business people out there at the moment, I think, when it comes to building a marketing business, a consulting business, and I would really recommend keeping an eye on his stuff. So I'm conscious of how long this webinar is taking, so we have 2 more sections to cover. So let's continue moving forward. That was kind of the biggest value-driven part of the webinar, and that's why I wanted to spend the most time on it. But I hope you found that interesting. Please check out all of those resources, and if there's only one thing that you check out, like of course I want you all to do the planning and the warm-up, but the Agency and Freelancer Growth Online Summit is going to be one of the most valuable free events this year, so please sign up for that too. Okay, so let's get on to something that I thought was really important to kind of address in this webinar. I know a lot of you are new to this webinar series, so around about, I think it was 3 weeks ago now, just before Christmas, I did a webinar about key marketing trends in 2019 to pay attention to, and I covered a lot of them. So I'll be recovering 3 of those in this webinar and why they're important. But if you want to go really in depth on what I think is going to be big marketing trends for next year, either check out the previous webinar or sign up for the Agency and Freelancer Growth Online Summit, where the Promo Republic CEO Max will be giving a really cool presentation about big trends for 2019. But you'll see why I wanted to talk about these couple of key trends in this webinar today. So the first one is chatbots and messenger marketing. How many of you have heard about chatbots, are learning about chatbots, have experimented with chatbots, or do chatbots for your clients? It's a big question I have for you. Okay, cool. So if there's one thing that has always been true in business, it's that companies tend to gravitate towards the communication channels that consumers are already using the most, right? It just makes complete sense. So back when people communicated through handwritten letters, direct mail was born. When phones became super common, so did telemarketing. The rise of email then led to the rise of email marketing, and today most people communicate on messenger apps, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp Messenger, WeChat, all of those great ones. And over the past few years, I think it's fair to say that the popularity of these apps has just absolutely skyrocketed. And if you take a look at this graph here, the steepness of the curve should definitely tell you something, and it's that messaging apps have a naturally just huge appeal, and that's probably because they're just so easy and intuitive, it would be crazy not to use them, right? The trend isn't stopping anytime soon either, and I think you'll love some of these stats that I shared on the screen. So by 2020, 85% of customer interactions are predicted to be dealt with by chatbots. And by 2022, chatbots will save businesses over $8 billion per year. So chatbots are something I'd recommend you all start learning about and start implementing within your businesses and within your clients' businesses. The second trend that is going to be big and will continue to be big in 2019 is video marketing. Video is still winning the race of the most successful medium of marketing in 2018, and this is going to continue this year. And this just makes sense because the average attention span of us as consumers is fairly short, and most people would much rather watch a video than read a long blog post. Live video has been a large factor within marketing recently because it really directly connects engaged consumers to products and services. If you want to catch someone's attention, then you'll most likely find them on social media, right? So platforms like Facebook Live have given marketers like us the opportunity to be in the face of their target market and interacting with them more than ever. This year, I think live video feeds are going to continue to explode. The important aspect going forward, though, will be originality. So interactive video and imaginative video marketing that encourages user engagement will quickly outpace video for the sake of moving pictures. Consumers become bored quickly, and brands that use video to engage and excite their users will be the brands that win. You don't want to be just doing video for the sake of doing video. The importance of video just cannot be understated, especially according to HubSpot. They actually said that simply adding a video to an email boosts click-through rate by a staggering 200 to 300%, and putting one on a landing page can increase conversion rate by 80%. So I want to just say to you all, make sure you do not fall behind in video. Almost every area of marketing is outperforming all the other mediums. I would recommend looking at your business's activities and work out the best ways that you can incorporate video marketing into your strategy and your client strategy. If you're running social media marketing for customers, video has to be one of the biggest parts of their strategy this year, 2019. I can see a question from Nura that says, does chatbot work in Instagram? So Facebook is much better. I think there are some like almost chatbot-like tools for Instagram, but Facebook is the place for the chatbots right now. Okay, and then the last trend that I'm going to talk about, as I said, I covered lots more in the previous webinar, but the last trend is that content will still be king. And as you guys know, content marketing is definitely not a new concept in the world of digital marketing, but right now it is more important than ever before. Content is the king, and it is increasingly working its way to the forefront of all digital marketing strategies. It's a crucial element that reaps big rewards. But in saying that, this one-size-fits-all approach will not suffice when it comes to content marketing. You have to focus on creating unique, high quality, and completely authentic content that is almost always entertaining, useful, or interesting for your consumers. Whether it's text, video, or images, to infographics, surveys, webinars, podcasts, whatever your preferred content medium is, you have to ensure that it is shareable and that it's relevant, interesting to your prospects, to your customers. I actually found a stat that says the great majority of consumers, 86% of them, say that authenticity is an absolutely key factor when deciding what brands they decide to support. This number is even higher amongst millennials, as people are placing more trust in humans than in brands, influencer marketing has been and still is trending up too. So I want to say that your effort to motivate your customers to share their experiences with your brands, as it would definitely pay off. Consumers are 3 times more likely to say that content created by a consumer is authentic compared to content created by a brand. So this is really important heading into 2019. Anyone that's doing content creation for their customers, you really, really have to on the quality of that content, because everyone is now putting out content, right? In the past, like social media protocols and posting regularly was enough, but it's not anymore. Every business is becoming onto social. Every business is posting content. So now the quality of that content is what separates you and what separates your customers from those other people out there. So content is and always will be the king. But with that in mind, maybe on top of all of this kind of stuff, like I just talked about 3 trends, but there are so many others, plus the planning stuff that we talked about, client work that you have to do, plus your own agency that you have to focus on, your own lead generation, your own content. It can be really, really difficult to keep on top of all of this stuff. And luckily, Promo Republic can help you with that. Now, I really want to urge you guys to listen to these next 3 or 4 slides, but also remember at the end of this webinar, I'm going to be giving you, like after this section, I'm going to be giving you 2 tips and things that you can implement straight away that are going to help you generate more revenue for your business in 2019. So you have to stick around for that. But with that in mind, like all of this stuff, there's so much to think about, and that is why Promo Republic put together the agency solution specifically for agencies and freelancers looking to grow their businesses. And it's broken down into 3 different sections. So I know a lot of you said that you are currently Promo Republic customers, but I only saw 1 or 2 of you that are currently using the agency solution. So the agency solution is specifically for people just like you on this webinar. And it helps agency owners generate more revenue. It helps agency owners have better communication with their clients, and it helps agency owners save time. And time is the most valuable asset that we can have. It's the only asset we can't buy more of. And it does that in 3 ways: by helping agencies create content and schedule posts all in one place. It helps you collaborate with your clients much more effectively, and it helps you report back to those clients too. And just to give you a few slides on what this looks like and how it works and some of the kind of features of this platform and how it can help you, I actually want to share a story with you. So before I found out about Promo Republic, I employed a social media manager, and we were using Hootsuite, as I used to work for Hootsuite. We were using Hootsuite to do all of our clients' content scheduling. And then before we got to Hootsuite, we were using Canva and Adobe Spark to create content pieces. So my social media manager would create the content in Adobe Spark in Canva. He would then download all of that content to his own computer. He would then log into Hootsuite. He would then upload it to Hootsuite and then schedule it through Hootsuite. Now, when I discovered Promo Republic has this post ideas library, and it also has this this graphics editor. So the post ideas library has over 100,000 templates of ready to go posts that you can edit and change as you wish, that are ready to be published and are always updated every single month. And it has this graphics editor, which basically has all of the functionality of the tools that we're already using. But the great thing about this is that we can create the content directly in Promo Republic and schedule it without having to download it onto our computer, without having to re-upload it. And just this one process itself saved my social media manager 6 hours per week per client. So think about that for a minute. 6 hours per week per client saved. Early on in this webinar, I said, literally only a few minutes ago, I said time is the most valuable resource in the world. It's the only resource we can't buy back or buy more of, right? I was able to save my social media manager 6 hours per week per client just from switching to Promo Republic. So it saves him time so he can work on more things. It saves me money, and it helps us generate better results for our clients too. Then we have the collaboration platform. Now, this is specific just to the agency solution within Promo Republic. I read a statistic recently that said 82% of agency owners say their biggest pain point is collaborating effectively with their clients. How many of you have to send posts to approval to your clients before you then upload them into your scheduling tool, or have to like download stuff and send it to them? How many of you have email communication backwards and forwards with your clients about whether something is okay or not? How many of you get text messages from them, Facebook messages? Like that communication can be dotted here, there, and everywhere. But with the Promo Republic collaboration platform, and also the other great thing about the agency solution is the fact that all of this can be white labeled. So just think about having all of this in your own agency's branding, your own agency's logo instead of the Promo Republic logo. It looks like your tool. And then in the collaboration platform, you can utilize our scheduling section to schedule everything up, but to schedule it for approval. So your client can then come to their own platform, which is branded up as yours. They can check the content, they can approve it, they can add comments to it, they can edit it, keeping all of that communication in one place, very simple to go, and saving you and your client a ton of time too. So this is something else that is really, really cool with the agency solution in Promo Republic. One of the best things is the white label too, because imagine how professional your agency looks to a client if they think you have your own amazing social media tool like this set up, and they can come in and approve things, check things, etc. So this is just a couple of the things about the agency solution that I really think you should like pay attention to, because ultimately as agency owners, you want to be delivering better results for your clients, and you want to be saving yourself time and saving yourself money. We actually recently ran a calculation. You can see this as Promo Republic honestly stacked up against the competitors within this space. We ran a calculation that said for an agency that manages 30 social media accounts, has five team members, and clients who want access to the tool, they want this approval workflow that we talked about, and they want to monitor mentions and hashtags of their clients. Choosing Promo Republic could save you anywhere from $600 to $5,400 annually versus these other solutions on the market. And this is why, because you get that Promo Republic solution with access to all of this stuff, and at the same time, Sendable and all these other platforms offer kind of more expensive prices for less information. So I can see a couple of questions that come through. What I actually wanted to say before moving on to the two tips that are going to help generate you more revenue is if you do want to learn a little bit more about the agency solution, Rico, I can see that you said you sent in for information. Unfortunately, haven't heard back yet. Um, if you want to learn more about the agency solution, I'm not saying you have to have like a full scale demo or someone's going to sell something to you, but if you want to learn more about it, if you want to see just how it works, what the white label solution looks like, how it can save you guys, agency owners, time and help you generate more revenue, I actually have a special kind of offer for everyone. We only share this on the webinars, but I'm sharing a link with you right now in the chat section where you can book directly onto a call with a member of the team to discuss the agency solution. And everyone that uses this link, the only place this link is shared is on these webinars. Everyone that uses this link will be also offered a special discount on the price that I'm showing you on the screen. So it's already the best price solution in the market. I tell the team at Promo Republic all the time, I think they should be charging more for this. But anyone wants to hear a bit more, learn a bit more, see what it looks like, see how it works, has any specific questions, book onto a call using that link, and you'll also be offered a discount too. So it seems like a no-brainer. So I really hope some of you take that up and check that out, because as I said, as an agency owner, it already saved me 6 hours per week per client, and I know it can help you guys do the same too. But let's get to two tips that will help you generate some additional revenue. Who wants to hear these two tips? Let me know. Give me a yes in the chat section if this is something that you are looking forward to or interested in. Awesome. Chris, Devlin, Todd, Jennifer, Valerio, Joel, Justin. It's great to see so many of you guys engaging with us today. This is really good to see. I'm pleased that there are so many of you here this early in the year. So thanks, everybody. Number one, this seems very, very obvious, and some of you may laugh at this, but increase your prices. Like, I would really recommend all of you, especially as we're talking about planning and goal setting for 2019, to reflect on how you are currently pricing things, what your pricing model is, and like how much revenue you're generating for your clients. So for example, we run paid acquisition campaigns. So we run paid ads campaigns for SaaS businesses, right? Which means we run Facebook ads, we run Google ads for them. If my Facebook ads are generating them tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, surely I should be pricing based on the value of that, right? I shouldn't be charging $500, okay? But some people do that. So think about your pricing model, whether you want to do value-based pricing, whether you want to do other pricing models. I always focus on value-based pricing. So I see Chris says, can you share your price model? To be honest, Chris, it's fairly simple. I have a set like starting price for the ads that I run for people, and that's it. But I've worked that out based on the margin that I make, based on my staff, etc. One key thing to think about here with your prices is that I know some of you are scared to increase your prices because it might mean you might lose a client or lose a couple of clients or something like that, or it might take you longer to land clients. But actually, higher paying clients often take the same amount or sometimes even less work than those that pay low. I've found that the people that pay me less than I should be charging are the people that are constantly following up with me, constantly asking me questions, are almost desperate, always have things that they need to ask. Whereas the people that pay me well, rarely do they even ask questions. They'll be there for our monthly catch up call or a bi-weekly catch up call, and that's it, unless they have a couple of little things that need to ask me. But often working for those higher paying clients is actually easier than the lower paying clients. So just don't be afraid to increase your prices. If you've had customers that work with you for a long time, like if you're generating results for them and the result for them are worth more than what they're paying you, then they'll have no problem with you increasing your prices. Don't be scared, don't be afraid. Look, if you increase your prices and you lose, it's probably going to be like, not even probably, it will be okay because the price increase from the others will make up for it. And then you'll have more time to bring in other clients. So the first thing is increase your prices. Now, number two, upsell. Upsell your current clients. I can't say this enough. This is something that is so important, but people forget to do. So did you know it's actually 68% more expensive to acquire $1 from a new customer than is a current customer? But why do so few of us try and offer additional services and upsell our current clients? I really like don't understand, but I think it's maybe it's a scare, worried, or we feel like they're paying us for something they don't want to do anything else. But if you can offer another service that's going to help your company or why don't you run some ad campaigns for them? Okay, so I can see someone has just said, yeah, I'm not hearing me anymore. Okay, let me just turn off my mic and restart the mic. Okay, everybody, I turned the mic off and I restarted it. Can you hear me any better now? Yeah, okay, cool. So the first opportunity is ads. If you're doing social media management for your clients, but you're not running paid ads for them, that's an upsell opportunity in itself. And the great thing is, so Promo Republic offer an additional service called Intelligent Ads, where their team can help manage and run ads for you and for your clients. As I said, this is an additional service, and if you want to learn more about this, it's very well priced again, must I say. And if you want to learn more about this, you can utilize the link that I shared earlier. I'm going to share it again in the chat. You can use the link to book onto a call with a member of the team and find out more about the agency solution and more about the intelligent increment immediately without too much work that will generate you additional revenue. And then the second upsell opportunity is social monitoring. Again, another service offered by Promo Republic as part of the agency solution. It adds on to the cost of the agency solution monthly. And it's social monitoring. So for your clients that you're doing social media management for, you're running the ads for them, you now have to be focusing on community management and engaging with the community. And that can be difficult to do if you're spread across like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all these different channels. It can be hard to track all of those engagement opportunities. Now with social monitoring, it can all be brought into the Promo Republic platform so that you can see exactly what people are saying about your brand or your client's brands, and you can detect all sales opportunities, detect engagement opportunities, and react to them quickly directly from the Promo Republic agency platform. So these are two opportunities that you can immediately upsell to your current clients and new clients without having to do any real additional work. These are things that Promo Republic can help you with as part of the agency solution. And those two right there are my two upsell opportunities, two ways that you can make more revenue for your business. That is the end of today's webinar. I hope you all enjoyed it a ton. I'm not going to just rush off anywhere. I have plenty of time to hang around for questions, etc. It is nearly 8 p.m. here in Tallinn, but this is the first live webinar that I've done since before Christmas, so I was very excited about it, and I love engaging with all of you. So let's take some questions. If you don't have any questions, thank you so much for watching, for engaging. I appreciate you. I would love for you to check out the agency solution and book onto a call with a member of the team to learn a bit more about it. I know it will help you and your business 100%. And the second thing is make sure you sign up for the completely free agency and freelancer growth online summit, which I'm posting the link for again right now because it's a free event and it will be full of value for all of you. Okay, questions, let's go. So, oh, thanks, Devin. I appreciate that. Thank you, Valerio. Okay, so when will the reporting be available? Yep, so the reporting is coming soon. Honestly, I don't have an exact time frame for you. I would have to double check with the team. I know that it is the #1 focus for them right now. So all I can say is that it will be soon. But if you do want to know specifically, I would recommend reaching out to the customer support team because they'll have a specific answer for you. Just the reason is that like I help with all this agency stuff, but I'm not kind of there day to day with them, so I don't have an exact answer. But reach out to the customer support team; they'll help you out. Joel, thank you. Yep, I'll get there. Don't you worry about that, my friend. Okay, who has questions for me? Who wants to talk about planning, agency stuff? Just any questions that come up that you might need help and support with. And whilst I can see there are still 48 of you online, I'm also going to do a shameless kind of plug right here and ask that if some value in this webinar, if you enjoyed this webinar, I share and I basically relaunched my YouTube channel at the back end of last year, sharing lots of entrepreneurial value, digital marketing value. I would love it if you enjoyed this to please click on that link that I've just shared in the chat box and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I have a ton of new videos that are going to be coming out over the next couple of weeks. I'll be sharing a lot of stuff there. So yeah, I have lots of other places. I'd love for you to connect with me and follow me on all the different social channels, but I'm going to be testing YouTube a lot more this year. So if you enjoyed this, if you found any value, I would love it if you could subscribe. I feel like it'd be wrong for me not to do a little shameless plug like that on this webinar because I just delivered you all 50 minutes of free value, which I hope you found helpful, which it looks like a lot of you did. So how for those that are still here, how many of you are maybe like interested in booking onto one of those calls or thinking about a bit more about the agency solution? I know you're not all going to tell me, but it'd be cool to hear. Okay, so Katerina says, how do I get access to the warm app type of scheduling? So Katerina, there was a link shared earlier on in the chat to the article on samavansconsulting.com website where you can view the video and see get access to all of the templates, but I will share it again for you just now. Bear with me for 2 seconds, I'll share the link for you in the chat. There you go, there's the link. Okay, so Rhonda says, when I first got your emails, I thought you were writing hey to catch my attention. No, I am very blessed. I have an incredible surname. Daniel, any tips for someone who's new to all this stuff and where to start with learning? Daniel, so that is, first of all, thank you for asking that question. It is a very broad question. So if you could maybe be a bit more specific, like what is it that you want to learn? And you say you're new to this stuff, so are you looking to launch an agency? Are you looking to launch, like, become a social media freelancer? What is it that you want to focus on? Because then we can kind of help you. I would like, I personally invest a lot of time, effort, energy, money, resources into mentors and coaching. And that has really sped up my growth, but I know not everybody is in a financial position where they can invest in those kind of things. There are a ton of like free videos available on YouTube to help you learn how to grow your agency. Like YouTube is great for that kind of stuff. But again, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard not knowing what you mean. Teresa says, I've not been able to attend a lot due to my new job. I'm looking at Facebook for the old ones. I can't locate them at the moment. Do you mean the old webinars, Teresa? Is that what you mean? Okay, so all of them all of the webinars are on the Promo Republic YouTube channel, but there's also a section on the Promo Republic website. I've just lost the link, so I'm just trying to find it for you. There's like a section where we collect all of the agency content that we have been producing. It's called the agency hub, basically. So I'm just going to try and find the link on. Actually, if you just head to the Promo Republic blog, you should be able to see everything there. Okay, so Miguel, hi Dylan, is the collaboration tool available on the white label agency? Yeah, so collaboration tool is only available to agency customers, and white label comes with the agency solution. Okay, so Daniel says, I'm starting a new job working for someone in their business, and I'll be creating content for social media. I'm from a chefing background. Okay, so I'd recommend just if you don't have like budget to spend on courses or training, go to YouTube and just start doing some research. Start looking for how to create content for social media and all those questions that you have. Type them into YouTube. There'll be a lot of good people there that can help you out. Okay, Sarah says, can you share the number 2 tip slide again? My computer froze. Okay, number 2. This one? Sorry? Upsell your current clients? Is that the one that you need? Cool. I'll leave it on screen for like a minute or so for you. Yes, Teresa, Udemy is great for social media too. Yeah, it's a really good recommendation for you there. So Ryan says, any advice on how to get small, medium-sized businesses to join you on collaboration tools for social? So great question, Ryan. My recommendation would be, now honestly, I don't work with businesses like many businesses like that, but my recommendation would be like if you want someone to break a habit pattern and to do something new and do something different, you have, especially a business owner, you have to show them the value to them. So you have to show them why you want them to use the collaboration platform. So you have to position it in a way that sounds attractive to them, and that is often by, in this case, sharing with them how much time it is going to save them and how much time they would then no longer have to spend emailing you backwards and forwards, etc. So Gary says, can you show a demo of autopilot? Gary, unfortunately, I'm not going to be showing demos on this webinar right now, but if you do want to see everything like that in action, make sure you go ahead and use that link that I shared to book onto a call with one of the team, and they'll show you everything in more depth. Just because of time, you see. Awesome. Does anyone else have any other questions? Once again, I appreciate you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. I hope you found it useful. We run these webinars every single week, so there will be another one just like this, but with different information, of course, next week. So make sure you come and join us for that one. And in the meantime, here again is the link to learn a bit more about the agency platform, to get that special discount that is only offered to you wonderful people on this webinar. I want to thank you all for being here. I hope you had a great time. Thank you for engaging, and hopefully I will see you either on the next webinar or at the Agency and Freelancer Growth Online Summit. Thanks everyone, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week.